Before we begin, it's crucial to understand that the information presented in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and this presentation does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. The tools and strategies discussed may not be suitable for your individual situation. You should always consult with a qualified and licensed professional before making any financial decisions. Your financial future is your responsibility. There's a question that keeps more Americans awake at night than almost any other. It's not about career success or finding love. It's a quiet, nagging whisper that gets louder as you get older. What if I outlive my money? Think about that for a second. You do everything right. You work for 40 years, you save, you invest in your 401k, you pay off the mortgage, and then you retire. And for the first 5, 10, maybe even 15 years, everything is great. But then you look at your accounts, you look at the rising cost of, well, everything, and that cold dread starts to creep in. The fear isn't just about not being able to take fancy vacations. It's about the basics. It's the fear of having to choose between buying groceries and buying vital prescription medication. It's the fear of becoming a financial burden on your children. It's the fear of your golden years turning into years of anxiety and scarcity. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. Not even close. A recent Federal Reserve study revealed a staggering statistic. Nearly a quarter of non-retired adults have zero, absolutely nothing, saved for retirement. And among those who are saving, more than half feel their savings are not on track. So we have this massive nationwide anxiety problem. We're told from our first day on the job to plan for retirement. But what does that even mean? For decades, the answer was a mess. It was a thick binder from a financial advisor filled with charts you didn't understand. It was a clunky spreadsheet you built yourself that was probably full of formula errors. It was a vague rule of thumb like the 4% rule, which was created in a completely different economic era and is now the subject of fierce debate. The old way was confusing, intimidating, and, for most people, completely ineffective. It left you feeling powerless, like you were just a passenger on a financial journey with no map and no steering wheel. But what if you could change that? What if you could have a crystal ball? What if you could sit down today and see a clear, data-driven projection of your entire financial future? A projection that shows you with stunning accuracy whether your current path leads to a comfortable retirement or a financial cliff. A projection that lets you play what if? What if I retire 2 years earlier? What if I decide to move to a state with no income tax? What if one of us needs expensive long-term care? What if inflation stays stubbornly high for another 5 years? This is no longer science fiction. This is the power of modern retirement planning software. And in this video, I am going to pull back the curtain on the 5 absolute best retirement planning software tools available in the United States for 2025. We're not just going to list them, we are going deep. We will dissect who each tool is built for, from the hardcore DIY investor to the person who just wants a simple, clear answer. We'll uncover their hidden strengths, their surprising weaknesses, and I promise you, by the end of this presentation, you will know exactly which tool can give you the clarity and confidence you've been searching for. This isn't just about numbers and charts. This is about taking back control. It's about transforming anxiety into action. It's about giving you a roadmap so you can navigate the most important financial journey of your life. I've spent hundreds of hours testing, stress testing, and living inside these platforms to figure out what really works and what's just marketing fluff. My goal is to save you that time and to demystify this process once and for all. Because a great retirement isn't just about having enough money, it's about having peace of mind. And that peace of mind comes from having a plan you understand and believe in. To truly appreciate why this software is so game-changing, we first have to face the beast that makes retirement planning so terrifyingly complex. I call it the three-headed dragon of retirement: inflation, healthcare, and longevity. Any one of these can derail your plan. All three working together can be a catastrophe. First, there's inflation. The silent thief. It's the reason that the $100,000 you have saved today will only buy you about $60,000 worth of goods and services in 20 years, assuming a modest 3% inflation rate. If inflation runs higher, that number gets even scarier. Most people vastly underestimate its corrosive power over a 20 or 30-year retirement. A simple savings account isn't a plan. It's a guaranteed loss of purchasing power. The best software doesn't just use a single flat inflation number. It allows you to model different inflation scenarios, to stress test your portfolio against periods of high inflation, so you can see exactly how resilient your plan is. The second head of the dragon is healthcare. This is the great unknown, the single biggest wild card in any retirement plan. According to Fidelity, a healthy 65-year-old couple retiring today can expect to spend over $315,000 on out-of-pocket healthcare costs throughout their retirement. That's after Medicare. That number is an average, meaning for many it will be much, much higher, especially if long-term care is needed. The cost of a nursing home can easily exceed $100,000 per year. Simply ignoring this or hoping for the best is not a strategy. It's a recipe for disaster. Powerful retirement software allows you to specifically model these costs. It forces you to confront this reality and build a plan that accounts for it, turning a terrifying unknown into a manageable expense. And the third, and perhaps most ironic, head of the dragon is longevity. We are living longer than ever before. This is a wonderful thing, a testament to modern medicine and healthier lifestyles. But it's a financial paradox. Living to 95 or 100 is a blessing if you can afford it, and a curse if you can't. The 4% rule and other old-school guidelines were often based on a 25 or 30-year retirement. But what if yours is 35 or 40 years? Your money has to work much, much harder for much, much longer. This is where stress testing your plan becomes absolutely critical. The software we're about to explore uses something called a Monte Carlo simulation. Sounds complex, but the concept is simple. It runs your plan through 1,000 different possible futures, simulating bull markets, bear markets, high inflation, low inflation, and everything in between, to give you a probability of success. It answers the ultimate question: what are the odds that my plan will actually work, that I won't run out of money before I run out of time? So, how do we fight this dragon? We use a weapon forged from data, algorithms, and sophisticated financial modeling. We use software that can see what we can't, calculate what we can't, and provide a level of clarity that was once reserved for the ultra-wealthy. We're about to embark on a tour of the 5 best tools to do just that. We'll start with the undisputed heavyweight champion, the gold standard. This is the platform that many professional financial planners use for their own high-net-worth clients, but that you can now access directly. It's for the person who wants the most detail, the most power, and the most comprehensive look into their financial future possible. It's not the simplest tool, but its power to model every single aspect of your financial life is absolutely unmatched. This is the deep end of the pool, and it's where we're diving in first. The tool is called OnTrajectory, and calling it a retirement calculator is like calling a space shuttle a vehicle. Technically is, but it completely misses the point. OnTrajectory is less of a calculator and more of a financial life simulator. It's designed for the person who lies awake at night not just wondering, will I have enough money? But asking much more specific, more difficult questions. Questions like, if we sell our primary residence in California in 2035 to move to a lower-cost state, how will the capital gains tax from that sale impact our required minimum distributions a decade later? And should we be doing Roth conversions now to mitigate that? Yeah, it's that deep. To really understand its power, let's imagine a couple. We'll call them Mark and Jessica. Mark is 52, a software engineer with a healthy 401k, some company stock options, and a small but growing side hustle building websites. Jessica is 50, a freelance graphic designer, so her income fluctuates. She has a SEP IRA. They have 2 kids, one heading to college next year, the other in 3 years. They own their home, which has appreciated significantly, but they also have a mortgage. They also expect a small inheritance in the next 10 to 15 years, but they have no idea how to factor that in. Their financial life isn't simple. It's a messy, interconnected web of accounts, goals, and uncertainties. If Mark and Jessica use a basic retirement calculator, they'll plug in their savings, their age, their estimated expenses, and get a single number. Pass or fail. It's a snapshot. But their life isn't a snapshot. It's a movie. This is where OnTrajectory changes the game. The first thing they do is link all their accounts. The 401k, the SEP IRA, the brokerage account, even their checking and savings. The software pulls in the data, but this is just the beginning. Then they start building their trajectory. They input Mark's salary, and they can model future raises. They can tell the software his company stock vests on a specific schedule. For Jessica's fluctuating income, they don't just put in an average. They can model a high, low, and medium income range for the next 10 years until she plans to slow down. They input their mortgage, and the software knows exactly when it will be paid off, freeing up that cash flow. They input the projected costs for college for both kids right down to the year. They even input the estimated inheritance, specifying it's a probability, not a certainty. What emerges isn't a single number. It's a graph, a timeline of their entire financial life from today until age 100. They can see their net worth grow, peak, and then begin to decline in retirement. They can see, visually, the moment their income from work stops, and their income from investments and Social Security needs to kick in. They can see the massive 4-year expense of college create a temporary dip in their savings rate. They see the exact month the mortgage payment vanishes and their cash flow skyrockets. It's their whole story laid out in front of them. For the first time, the future doesn't feel like a vague, foggy concept. Feels like a plan. But here's where the magic truly happens. The what-ifs. Mark and Jessica look at their graph, and they see that according to the plan, they're on track to retire at 65. But Mark's been feeling burned out. He leans over and says, "What if I retired at 62 instead?" In a normal calculator, this is a nightmare to figure out. In On Trajectory, it's a single click. They create a new scenario, a copy of their baseline plan. They change Mark's retirement date. Instantly, the entire graph recalculates. They see the impact. Their final nest egg is smaller, of course, but they can also see if it's still enough. They can see how much less they can safely withdraw each year. The answer isn't just yes or no. The answer is, yes, you can retire at 62, but it will mean your annual retirement budget will be $8,000 lower. Are you comfortable with that trade-off? This opens a floodgate of questions they can finally answer with data, not just emotion. Jessica asks, "What if my freelance business really takes off for the next 5 years?" They model it. Boom! The graph updates. Retiring at 62 now looks much more comfortable. What if we sell this big house when the kids are gone and downsize to a condo? That would free up $400,000 in equity. They model it. The graph surges upwards in the year they plan to sell. Suddenly, early retirement isn't just possible, it's probable. They can test everything. What if inflation averages 4% for the next decade instead of 2.5%? What if the stock market has a horrible lost decade with zero growth? They can run a Monte Carlo simulation, which is a fancy way of saying the software runs their plan through 1,000 different possible market outcomes, booms, busts, and everything in between to give them a probability of success. A 95% success rate means that in 950 out of 1,000 simulations, they never ran out of money. That's not a guarantee, but it's the closest thing to real statistical confidence you can get. And it goes even deeper. The single biggest blind spot for most retirement plans is taxes. Most calculators ignore them, showing you a big, beautiful nest egg number without mentioning how much of it Uncle Sam is going to claim. On Trajectory has one of the most sophisticated tax modeling engines available to consumers. It models federal and state income tax. It understands how your Social Security benefits will be taxed based on your other income. Crucially, it models your required minimum distributions, or RMDs. This is the money the government forces you to start withdrawing from your traditional 401(k) and IRAs at age 73. For people with large pre-tax balances, these RMDs can be huge, pushing them into a much higher tax bracket in retirement than they were in when working. On Trajectory shows Mark and Jessica this tax bomb waiting for them in their mid-70s. But it doesn't just show them the problem, it lets them solve it. They can model Roth conversions. What if, in the years after Mark retires but before they claim Social Security, they strategically convert $50,000 a year from their traditional IRA to a Roth IRA? They'd pay taxes on it then, at a potentially lower tax rate. They model it, and they see the long-term effect. Their future RMDs shrink, their lifetime tax bill plummets, and more of their money stays in their pocket. This is a strategy that can save a family hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this software gives them the power to map it out, year by year. So who is this for? On Trajectory is for the detail-oriented planner. It's for the engineer, the project manager, the DIY investor who wants to turn over every stone and understand every variable. It's for people like Mark and Jessica, whose financial lives have a few moving parts. It requires an investment of time up front. You're not going to get a meaningful answer in 5 minutes. You have to be willing to gather your documents and really engage with the process. The learning curve is real, but the payoff is a level of clarity and control that is simply impossible to achieve with simpler tools. It's for the person who doesn't just want to be told they're okay. They want to understand why they're okay, and how to stay okay, no matter what life throws at them. It transforms retirement planning from a guessing game into a strategic exercise. But let's be honest. For a lot of people, this is complete overkill. The thought of modeling Roth conversion strategies and capital gains tax is overwhelming. It's like using a NASA supercomputer to check your email. What if you're just starting out? What if your situation is more straightforward? What if you just want a clear, simple, and beautiful interface to tell you the one thing you need to do: save more money? What if you want the answer in 5 minutes, not 5 hours? For that, you don't need a flight simulator. You need a trusted co-pilot. And that brings us to our number 4 pick, a tool that sits on the complete opposite end of the complexity spectrum. It's arguably the most user-friendly and elegantly designed retirement planner on the market today. I'm talking about NuRetirement. If personal capital is your F-16 fighter jet dashboard, NuRetirement is the sleek, intuitive cockpit of a private Gulfstream. It's less about overwhelming you with every single data point in real time, and more about giving you the exact controls you need to chart a course, adjust for turbulence, and land your financial future exactly where you want it. The core philosophy here is fundamentally different. It's not a wealth tracker that has a retirement planner bolted on. It is a retirement planner first and foremost. It was built from the ground up with one question in mind: am I going to be okay? And it answers that question not with a simple yes or no, but by giving you the tools to build a plan that ensures the answer is yes. Think about it this way. Let's imagine a woman named Susan. She's 52, a successful project manager, incredibly organized in her professional life. She has a 401k, a Roth IRA. Her husband has his own retirement accounts. They have a brokerage account and some home equity. She's tried other tools, but she logs in and sees a dozen charts, 100 numbers, and a net worth figure that fluctuates with the market every single day. It's information overload. Causes anxiety, not clarity. She knows all the pieces of her financial puzzle are there, but she has no idea how they fit together to create a picture of her retirement. She feels stuck. This is where NuRetirement shines. When Susan first logs in, it doesn't just ask her to link accounts. It starts a conversation. It guides her step by step through building a baseline plan. What's your income? What are your savings? What do you think your expenses will be in retirement? Let's estimate Social Security. Let's factor in healthcare. It's a methodical, calming process that builds a foundation. For the first time, Susan isn't just looking at a pile of assets. She's looking at a cohesive plan, a timeline. The initial output might show she's on track, or it might show a shortfall. But here's the magic. It doesn't just show you the problem. It gives you a powerful laboratory to solve it. This is its killer feature: scenario modeling. This is where NuRetirement transitions from a simple calculator to your personal financial strategist. Susan can now ask the big, what-if questions that keep her up at night. What if we downsize our house when we're 67? She can add that to the plan. Click a button and the entire projection recalibrates. The system automatically models the sale of the home, the elimination of the old mortgage payment, the new, lower property taxes, and the influx of cash into her investment accounts. She can see instantly how that one decision impacts her long-term security and cash flow. What if her husband wants to retire 2 years earlier than planned? She can create a new scenario, adjust his retirement age, and see the impact. What if they want to spend $10,000 a year traveling for the first decade of retirement? Model it. What if inflation stays stubbornly high? You can adjust the inflation assumption and see how it stress tests your plan. You can layer these scenarios, compare them side by side, and find the optimal path forward. It transforms retirement planning from a terrifying, passive activity of watching your net worth bounce around into an active, empowering process of making deliberate choices. You are no longer a passenger, you are the pilot. But it goes even deeper. For those who want to get more sophisticated, NuRetirement offers tools that are genuinely on par with what a professional financial advisor would use. Let's talk about one of the most powerful and often misunderstood strategies for retirees: Roth conversions. You've probably heard of them. The basic idea is to move money from a pre-tax account, like a traditional IRA or 401k, to a post-tax Roth IRA. You pay income taxes on the amount you convert today, so that all future growth and withdrawals are 100% tax-free. This can be an incredibly powerful way to reduce your tax burden in retirement, especially if you expect tax rates to go up in the future. The million-dollar question literally is how much to convert each year. Convert too much and you push yourself into a higher tax bracket, defeating the purpose. Convert too little, and you leave a massive tax-advantaged opportunity on the table. This is where financial advisors make their money. Well, NuRetirement has a built-in Roth Conversion Explorer. It analyzes your entire financial picture, your income, your tax bracket, your projected future withdrawals, and helps you find the sweet spot. It allows you to model different conversion strategies year by year to see which one results in the lowest overall lifetime tax bill. This single feature can potentially save users tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes over the course of their retirement. It's like having a tax specialist on retainer built right into the software. And then there's the big one, confidence. How do you know your plan will survive the chaos of the real world? New Retirement uses Monte Carlo simulations. That sounds complex, but the concept is simple. It takes your plan and runs it through 1,000 different possible economic futures. One simulation might have a roaring bull market for the first 5 years of your retirement, followed by a crash. Another might have a decade of stagnant growth and high inflation. It runs through all these different permutations, the good, the bad, and the ugly. At the end, it doesn't give you a single number. It gives you a confidence score. The percentage of those 1,000 simulations where your plan succeeded, and you never ran out of money. Seeing a confidence score of 90% feels a whole lot different than just looking at a simple graph projecting a straight line into the future. It's the difference between a weather forecast that says, sunny, and one that says 90% chance of sunshine, with a small chance of a passing shower. It's realistic, it's robust, and it provides genuine peace of mind. So who is this for? New Retirement is for the DIY planner who wants to be deeply involved in the process. It's for the person who, like Susan, is 5 to 15 years away from retirement and realizes it's time to get serious. It's for the couple who wants to sit down together, model different life choices, and come up with a shared vision for their future. It's for the person who wants the power of a financial advisor's tools without paying 1 to 1% of their assets every single year. Now, what's the catch? The free version of New Retirement is good. It's a fantastic starting point for building that baseline plan. But the real magic, the scenario modeling, the Roth Conversion Explorer, the detailed tax analysis, is in their paid tier called Planner Plus. It currently costs around $120 a year. And while some might balk at paying for software, you have to put it in perspective. That's less than what many people pay for coffee in a month, and it's a tiny fraction of the cost of a single hour with a human financial advisor. It's an investment in clarity, control, and confidence. The only other potential downside is that it's not a set-it-and-forget-it tool. It rewards engagement. The more you put into it, the more you play with the scenarios, the more value you get out. New Retirement empowers you to build, test, and refine a detailed, professional-grade retirement plan. It's a dedicated workshop for crafting your future. But what if you don't want a separate workshop? What if the tools you need aren't in a standalone piece of software, but are already integrated into the very place where you hold most of your investments? What if the most powerful planner for you is the one hiding in plain sight, offered for free by your brokerage? That brings us to our number 3 contender, a giant in the industry that has built an impressively robust planning ecosystem for its own customers. Fidelity, specifically the Fidelity Retirement Plan and Guidance Center. Now, before you click away thinking, oh, that's just for Fidelity customers, I want you to pause and consider something profound. For millions of Americans, Fidelity isn't just a brokerage. It's the brokerage. It's where their 401k lives, where their IRA is parked, where their kids' 529 plans are growing. If that sounds like you, then you are sitting on one of the most powerful, seamlessly integrated, and completely free retirement planning tools on the market. The magic of a tool like Fidelity's isn't just about its features. It's about its context. It lives where your money lives. There's no tedious manual entry of your biggest accounts. No syncing issues. No wondering if you remember to update your 401k balance from last quarter. It's all there in real time. This eliminates the single biggest point of failure for most financial plans: outdated or incorrect data. Your plan isn't based on a guess you made 6 months ago. It's based on your actual portfolio today. So let's pull back the curtain. At the heart of the Fidelity experience is something they call the retirement score. It's a single number from 0 to 150 that gives you an at-a-glance assessment of where you stand. It's not just a simple projection based on average market returns. This is where Fidelity brings out the big guns. Under the hood, it's running a sophisticated Monte Carlo simulation. Now, that sounds complicated, but the concept is simple and incredibly powerful. Instead of just one straight-line projection, the software runs your plan through hundreds, even thousands of different possible futures. It simulates futures with booming markets, futures with devastating crashes, futures with high inflation, and everything in between. It stress tests your plan against the chaos of reality. Your final score represents the likelihood that you'll be able to cover your estimated expenses in retirement. Fidelity color codes this for you, making it dead simple to understand. A score over 90 puts you in the green zone. You're on track. Between 70 and 90 is the yellow zone. You're close, but some adjustments might be needed. Below 70 is the red zone, a clear signal that it's time to take action. This single intuitive score transforms the vague, terrifying question of "will I have enough?" into a concrete, manageable metric you can actively work to improve. But a score is just a number. The real value is in how you can change it. This is where the guidance part of the tool comes alive. It's a dynamic sandbox for your entire financial life. Let's imagine a couple. We'll call them Mark and Sarah. They're 50 years old. They've been saving diligently into thetheir Fidelity 401(k)s and IRAs. They log in and see their score is an 82. Yellow zone. Not bad, but it's causing them some anxiety. This is where they can stop worrying and start planning. The tool invites them to play What If? First, they look at their retirement age, currently set at 67. Mark wonders, what if we push through and work until 70? They slide the age dial. The system reruns all those thousands of simulations in seconds. Their score jumps to 98. Green zone. A wave of relief. But Sarah isn't so sure she wants to work that long. So they reset it back to 67. Okay, she says. What if we just increase our savings? They're currently saving 12% of their income. The tool has a slider for that too. They nudge it up to 15%. The score ticks up to 89. Still yellow, but almost there. What if we do both? Mark asks. Save 15% and maybe retire at 68 instead of 67? Boom. Score 95. Green zone. In less than 5 minutes, they've gone from a place of vague anxiety to having a concrete, actionable plan with multiple paths to success. This dynamic modeling extends to every facet of your plan. You can adjust your expected retirement lifestyle, from modest to average to above average, and see the impact instantly. You can model the sale of a home. You can input pensions and other income sources. It has a surprisingly detailed Social Security modeler, allowing you to see the financial impact of claiming at 62 versus 67 versus 70, a decision that can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. One of its most crucial and often overlooked features is its healthcare cost modeling. Fidelity has a dedicated tool that estimates your potential healthcare and long-term care expenses in retirement based on your age, health status, and location. It then bakes that massive, scary number right into your overall plan. So many people build a retirement plan based on their current expenses, completely forgetting that healthcare will likely be their single largest expense after housing. Fidelity doesn't let you forget. It forces you to confront the reality of healthcare costs, which is the only way to properly plan for them. So what are the biggest strengths? First and foremost, the price. It's free for Fidelity customers. You cannot beat that value proposition. Second, as we've discussed, is the seamless integration. If you're already in the Fidelity ecosystem, your data is live, accurate, and automatic. Third is the power. For a free brokerage-provided tool, running Monte Carlo simulations is a premium feature that gives you a much more realistic probability of success than simple calculators. But of course, there are trade-offs. This isn't the perfect tool for everyone. The biggest weakness is that it's a walled garden. While you can link external accounts, the process can sometimes be clunky, and it shines brightest when the vast majority of your assets are already under Fidelity's roof. If your portfolio is spread across 5 different brokerages, a bank, and a credit union, keeping everything synced and accurate here can become the very manual chore it's designed to avoid. Another potential downside is that its user-friendly interface can sometimes oversimplify complex situations. It provides excellent guidance on asset allocation, suggesting a stock/bond/cash mix based on your risk tolerance. However, it's not going to give you granular advice on specific tax loss harvesting strategies or the nuances of a backdoor Roth IRA conversion. It's a fantastic planner, but it is not a replacement for a dedicated tax professional or a human financial advisor, especially if you have a very high net worth, complex trusts, or business ownership to consider. So, who is the Fidelity Retirement Plan and Guidance Center absolutely perfect for? It's for the diligent DIY investor who has chosen to consolidate their financial life with a top-tier brokerage. It's for the person who wants a plan that is deeply connected to their actual money, not an abstract simulation in a separate piece of software. It's for the family that wants to turn their anxiety about the future into a clear, actionable score they can work on together. If you have a Fidelity account, even just an old 401k from a previous job, and you haven't explored this tool, you are leaving an incredible amount of value on the table. It is, without a doubt, the most powerful free integrated planner available today. The Fidelity tool is a masterpiece of making sophisticated planning accessible to the masses, leveraging the power of its own ecosystem. But what if your financial life isn't that simple? What if you want to model rental income from 3 different properties? What if you need to plan for complex Roth conversions to minimize taxes over the next 2 decades? What if you want the power of a professional financial advisor software, but in your own hands? For that level of detail and control, you need to step up to a dedicated premium platform. You need a tool so powerful and respected that even financial advisors use it for their own clients. And that brings us to our number 2 pick. A true powerhouse in the world of retirement planning. NuRetirement. This isn't just a step up. It's a leap into a different league entirely. If our previous tools were like a detailed map and a compass, NuRetirement is like having a full-blown GPS navigation system with real-time satellite imagery, traffic analysis, and topographical data. It's designed for one purpose and one purpose only: to give you the most comprehensive, detailed, and actionable retirement plan possible without hiring a human advisor. In fact, their premium version for advisors is the engine running behind the scenes at many financial planning offices across the country. You're getting access to the same raw power. So what makes it so different? 3 words: granularity, control, and foresight. Let's start with the basics. Like the others, you link your accounts or enter them manually. But that's where the similarities end. The initial setup isn't a 5-minute affair. It's an interview. It asks you about everything: your income, your spouse's income, pensions, expected inheritances, real estate, mortgages, side hustles. It wants the complete picture. And this is the first filter. If you're not willing to spend an hour or 2 gathering this data and thoughtfully inputting it, this tool is not for you. But if you are, the reward is a level of clarity that is simply unattainable with simpler software. Once your data is in, you see your baseline plan. It gives you a probability of success similar to a Monte Carlo analysis. But here's the NuRetirement difference. It doesn't just give you a number. It shows you the why. You can dive into detailed charts that show your cash flow year by year, from today until you're projected to be 100 years old or more. You can see exactly when your mortgage is paid off, when Social Security kicks in, when you'll need to start taking required minimum distributions, and how each of these events impacts your overall financial health. But the real magic begins when you start playing with the variables. This is where the control comes in. What if you decide to downsize your home in 10 years? You don't just put in a vague number. You can model the sale of your current home, estimate the capital gains tax, input the purchase of a new, smaller home, and see the net effect on your cash flow and investments for the rest of your life. What if you want to work part-time for the first 5 years of retirement? You can model that specific income stream and see how it reduces the stress on your portfolio. What if you want to buy an RV and travel the country for 3 years? You can create a specific, temporary expense and watch the system recalculate everything. This isn't just what-if scenario planning. It's life modeling. And it handles the 2 biggest financial fears in retirement with a level of detail that is, frankly, astounding: healthcare and taxes. Let's talk about healthcare. Most calculators just have you plug in a generic inflation-adjusted number for healthcare costs. NuRetirement demolishes this approach. It has a detailed built-in estimator that models your healthcare and Medicare costs based on your age, your health status, and even the state you plan to retire in. It accounts for Medicare Part B and Part D premiums, supplemental plans, and out-of-pocket costs. It then takes it a step further by modeling potential long-term care needs. You can see the devastating financial impact of a multi-year nursing home stay, and then model different ways to mitigate that risk, like purchasing long-term care insurance or earmarking specific assets. Seeing this modeled out is a sobering but absolutely critical exercise for anyone serious about a secure retirement. Then there's taxes. This is where NuRetirement truly earns its pro-level status. It doesn't just guess at your tax bracket. It runs a detailed tax simulation for every single year of your retirement. It understands the difference between your 401k, your Roth IRA, and your brokerage account. This allows you to do something incredibly powerful: model tax optimization strategies. The most popular one is Roth conversions. You can literally build a Roth conversion ladder inside the software. You can tell it, I want to convert $50,000 a year from my traditional IRA to my Roth IRA for the next 8 years. and it will show you the immediate tax bill you'll face each year, but also the long-term tax savings you'll achieve when you can take that money out tax-free later in life. It helps you find that sweet spot of converting just enough to fill up lower tax brackets without pushing yourself into a higher one. It can also help you devise the most tax-efficient withdrawal strategy in retirement. Should you pull from your taxable brokerage account first? Your pre-tax 401k? Your tax-free Roth? New Retirement can model these different sequences to show you which one results in the lowest lifetime tax bill. This strategy alone, for someone with a sizable nest egg, could be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. That subscription fee starts to look pretty small in comparison. So who is this for? It's for the detail-oriented planner. It's for the household that's 5 to 15 years away from retirement, where the stakes are high and the decisions you make now will have massive consequences. It's for the person who has multiple accounts, a spouse with their own retirement plan, and complex questions about Social Security, healthcare, and taxes. It's for the person who wants to be the CEO of their own retirement and needs a C-suite level dashboard to make informed decisions. Who is it not for? It's not for the beginner who just needs to know if they're saving enough. The sheer volume of data can be overwhelming. It's also not for someone looking for a set-it-and-forget-it solution. This is a tool you engage with. Your plan is a living document that you should be revisiting and tweaking as your life changes. The cost is also a factor. The free version is good, but the real power is unlocked in their Planner Plus and Architect tiers, which run a few $100s a year. But again, you have to frame it as an investment. You are paying for a level of insight that could easily cost you several $1,000s from a human financial planner. New Retirement is the undisputed king of DIY retirement planning software. It empowers you with the tools and data to build a plan that is as robust and detailed as one from a professional. It's a masterpiece of financial engineering for the consumer. So good, so comprehensive, that it almost feels like it should be number one. Almost. But there's a final frontier in personal finance management that even New Retirement doesn't fully conquer. New Retirement is the ultimate planning engine. It helps you build the perfect blueprint. But what about the execution? What about a tool that not only helps you create the plan, but helps you live it, day by day, integrating every aspect of your financial life, budgeting, spending, saving, and investing, into one seamless, intelligent, and almost living system? Our number one pick isn't just a planner. It's a co-pilot for your entire financial life. It aims to be your personal CFO, and for the right person it gets frighteningly close. And that title of personal CFO belongs to our number one pick for 2025. Empower Personal Dashboard. Now, for many of you that name might sound a little new, but you almost certainly know it by its legendary former name, Personal Capital. After being acquired by Empower, one of the largest retirement plan providers in the country, they rebranded. But don't let the name change fool you. The core engine, the philosophy, and the sheer power of what made Personal Capital a revolutionary tool are not only intact, they've been supercharged. So why is it number one? Why does it beat out every other piece of software we've looked at? The answer is one powerful, transformative word: aggregation. Think about your financial life right now. It's probably fragmented. You have your checking account with one bank. Your 401k is with a totally different company your employer chose. You might have an old 401k from a past job just sitting there. You've got a Roth IRA with Vanguard or Fidelity, a mortgage with another lender, credit card statements coming from 3 different places, maybe even some crypto on an exchange. It's a scattered, chaotic mess. Trying to see the big picture is like trying to assemble a jigsaw puzzle without the box top. You have all the pieces but no idea how they fit together. Empower Personal Dashboard is the box top. It is the single source of truth. Its primary function is to securely link to every single one of your financial accounts and pull all of that data into one elegant, comprehensive dashboard. This isn't just about convenience. It's about clarity. For the first time, you can see your entire financial universe in one place, updated in real time. And the first thing this unlocks is the most important number in your financial life: your true net worth. Seeing that number calculated automatically is a profound moment for most people. It's the ultimate score. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. The dashboard shows you everything. All your assets, from cash and investments to the Zillow estimated value of your home, minus all your liabilities like your mortgage, car loans, and credit card debt. Watching that number move month after month, year after year, becomes the most powerful motivator you will ever have. It gamifies your financial progress. But a net worth tracker alone doesn't make it the best retirement planner. What happens next is where the magic lies. Empower takes all of this real-time, aggregated data from your actual accounts and feeds it directly into its retirement planning tools. This is the key differentiator. Other tools make you manually input your account balances. They make you guess your savings rate. They rely on you to update the numbers. It's a static snapshot based on data that's stale the moment you enter it. Empower uses a live video feed. It knows exactly how much you're contributing to your 401k with every paycheck. It sees your IRA contributions the moment they happen. It tracks the real performance of your actual investments. Your retirement projection isn't based on assumptions. It's based on your reality. The flagship tool here is the Retirement Planner. You plug in your desired retirement age and your expected annual spending. From there, it runs a sophisticated Monte Carlo simulation. Now, that sounds complicated, but the concept is simple and incredibly powerful. Instead of just projecting one straight line into the future assuming an average 8% market return, the Monte Carlo simulation runs thousands, literally thousands of different scenarios. It simulates bull markets, bear markets, periods of high inflation, recessions, and everything in between, based on historical data. The result isn't a single fragile number. It's a probability. It might tell you, based on your current trajectory, you have an 87% chance of reaching your retirement goals. That is infinitely more valuable than a simple calculator saying you'll have $2 million. It accounts for uncertainty. It stress tests your plan against the chaos of the real world. You can then play with the variables. What if I save an extra $200 a month? The simulation reruns instantly. What if I retire 2 years later? Rerun. What if we have a major market downturn right after I retire? Can model that. It's like having a financial crystal ball that shows you thousands of possible futures, allowing you to build a plan that's robust enough to survive the most likely ones. But it gets even better. Buried inside the platform is a tool that I believe is worth its weight in gold, and it's called the Investment Checkup. This tool analyzes the specific funds you're holding across all your investment accounts, your 401k, your IRAs, your brokerage accounts, and it does two critical things. First, it assesses your overall asset allocation. It shows you if you're too heavily weighted in US stocks, or if you have too much cash sitting on the sidelines, or if you're not diversified enough internationally. It gives you a target allocation based on your risk tolerance and shows you how to adjust. It's like a free, unbiased checkup from a portfolio manager. Second, and this is the part that can literally save you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime, is the fee analyzer. Most people have no idea how much they are paying in fees inside their 401k or mutual funds. These fees are hidden, automatically deducted from your returns, and they are wealth-destroying parasites. A 1% annual fee might not sound like much, but on a $1 million portfolio, that's $10,000 a year every year. Over 30 years, the corrosive effect of that fee can cost you over $500,000 in lost growth. The fee analyzer scans every single fund you own and tells you, down to the dollar, how much you are paying in fees each year. It shines a glaring spotlight on these hidden costs. For many people, seeing this for the first time is a jaw-dropping, infuriating moment. But it's also an empowering one because now you can take action. You can switch to lower-cost index funds within your 401k and instantly give yourself a permanent raise. This feature alone makes signing up for the free tool a no-brainer. So what's the catch? Why is all of this million-dollar dashboard, these institutional-grade planning tools, completely free? It's an important question, and the answer is transparency. Empower is also a wealth management company. Their business model is to provide these incredible free tools to everyone, and for users with a higher net worth, typically over $100,000 in investable assets, they will offer their paid advisory services. You will likely get an email or a call from an Empower advisor offering a free consultation to discuss your financial plan. And this is where you have a choice. You can talk to them, hear them out, and decide if their paid service is right for you. Or you can simply say, no thank you, I'm happy using the free tools, and that's it. The calls will stop, and you can continue to use the platform for free forever, with no strings attached. It's a fair trade. In exchange for the possibility of them pitching you their service, you get one of the most powerful financial dashboards ever created. This tool is for the accumulator. It's for the person who is serious about building wealth and wants a 30,000-foot view of their entire financial life. It's for the person who has moved beyond simple budgeting and is now focused on optimizing their investments, minimizing their fees, and tracking their progress towards financial independence. It transforms your money from a source of stress and confusion into a clear, manageable, and unified system. It truly is the closest thing most of us will ever have to a personal chief financial officer. But that personal CFO role is primarily about understanding the present. It gives you a perfect high-definition snapshot of where you stand today. But what happens when you want to look into the future? Not just a simple projection, but a detailed, interactive map of all the possible futures you could create? What if you need more than a CFO? What if you need a full-blown strategic planning department? A virtual lab for your financial life? That's where our third contender, New Retirement, comes roaring onto the scene. And let me tell you, this one is a different beast entirely. It's not a simple aggregator. It's not primarily a net worth tracker. New Retirement is, hands down, the most powerful and comprehensive retirement simulator available to the average person in the United States today. This isn't about tracking what you have. It's about modeling, simulating, and stress testing everything you could possibly do. Think of it like this: most financial tools are like the rearview mirror in the dashboard of your car. They tell you how fast you're going and what's behind you. New Retirement is the advanced GPS navigation system, the weather radar, and the traffic analysis AI all rolled into one. It's constantly calculating every possible route to your destination, alerting you to potential hazards, and showing you the impact of every single turn you might make. The heart of New Retirement is its what-if engine. This is where the magic happens. You're not just plugging in your numbers and getting a single static projection. You're building a living, breathing model of your financial life. Want to see what happens if you retire 2 years earlier than planned? You don't have to guess. You can model the precise impact on your portfolio's longevity. Thinking about selling your expensive home in a high-tax state and moving to a place with no state income tax? New Retirement will show you not just the immediate cash benefit, but the long-term ripple effects on your taxes, expenses, and how long your money will last. What if the stock market has a major correction, a 30% drop the very year you plan to retire? You can run that scenario. What if inflation stays stubbornly high for another 3 years? You can adjust the inflation assumptions and see how it eats into your purchasing power. What if you decide to work part-time for the first 5 years of retirement? Or what if you want to give a significant financial gift to your children? Every one of these decisions, big and small, can be modeled in incredible detail. It transforms retirement planning from a passive activity of saving and hoping into an active process of strategic decision-making. It's the closest thing you can get to a financial flight simulator. A traditional plan from an advisor is like a flight map drawn on paper. It points to your destination. But New Retirement puts you in the pilot seat of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner. It lets you experience turbulence, crosswinds, and even engine trouble in a completely safe, virtual environment. You can crash your plan 100 times in the simulator, learning from each mistake, so that when you're flying for real with your actual life savings, you know exactly how to navigate any storm that comes your way. That kind of confidence is priceless. But where it truly separates itself from the pack is in its depth. This isn't just an investment simulator. It's a life simulator. It dives headfirst into the complex, thorny issues that other platforms barely acknowledge. Let's talk about Social Security. For most Americans, it's one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives. Claim at 62? Wait until 70? What about spousal benefits? It's a maze of rules and calculations. New Retirement has a built-in Social Security optimization tool that runs the numbers for you, helping you identify the claiming strategy that could maximize your lifetime benefits. That one feature alone can be worth tens, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. It doesn't stop there. It models healthcare costs in retirement, including detailed estimates for Medicare premiums based on your income. It allows you to plan for the dreaded possibility of long-term care expenses. And perhaps one of its most powerful and overlooked features is its Roth conversion modeling. It helps you analyze how to strategically convert money from traditional IRAs or 401(k) to Roth accounts during your lower income years to minimize your lifetime tax bill. This is a high-level strategy that was once the exclusive domain of expensive financial advisors, and now it's at your fingertips. So who is this for? If Empower is your daily financial dashboard, New Retirement is your strategic command center. This is for the serious planner, the person who wants to be the CEO of their own retirement, the tinkerer, the engineer-minded individual, the planner who lies awake at night wondering, have I thought of everything? If you are within 10 to 15 years of retirement, Or if you're already retired and managing your decumulation strategy, this tool moves from the nice-to-have category into the absolutely essential category. It provides a level of clarity and control that is simply unmatched. Now let's be completely transparent. With this immense power comes a degree of complexity. New Retirement is not the slickest or most beautiful tool out there. Its interface is functional, not flashy. It can feel a bit overwhelming when you first log in. There are dozens upon dozens of data fields to fill out, from your pension details to your specific mortgage information. You have to be willing to roll up your sleeves and invest a few hours to feed the machine with good data. Because like any computer, it's garbage in, garbage out. The quality of its predictions is directly proportional to the quality of the information you provide. Furthermore, while there is a free version that is quite good for basic planning, the real magic, the detailed scenario analysis, the optimization engines, the advanced tax modeling, is part of their paid Planner Plus subscription. For some, a subscription fee for software is a non-starter. But I would encourage you to reframe that. When you consider that a single insight from its Roth conversion model could save you thousands in taxes in a single year, or that its Social Security optimizer could add tens of thousands to your lifetime income, the annual fee starts to look less like an expense and more like one of the highest return investments you could possibly make in your own future. It is, without a doubt, the most comprehensive retirement planning and simulation engine available to the public. It gives you the X-ray vision to see the hidden consequences of your choices, and the confidence that comes from pressure testing your plan against 1,000 different futures. But it's a dedicated planner, not an all-in-one investment platform. You build the blueprint in your retirement, but you still have to execute that plan elsewhere, in your brokerage and retirement accounts. This raises a critical question. What if you want that kind of planning power integrated directly where your money already lives? What if you wanted a surprisingly robust, sophisticated retirement tool that's provided completely free by the very company you already trust to hold your life savings? That's exactly where our fourth tool shines, and it comes from one of the undisputed titans of the investment world. That titan is Fidelity, and their tool is simply called the Fidelity Retirement Planner. And let me be clear, this isn't some lightweight marketing fluff calculator. This is a full-blown, institutional-grade planning engine, and its single greatest advantage is something no third-party app can ever truly replicate: native integration. If you're one of the tens of millions of people who already have a 401k, an IRA, or a brokerage account with Fidelity, this tool is already wired into your financial DNA. There's no clunky syncing, no outdated information, no third-party connections that break. It's your actual real-time financial data, powering one of the most robust planning simulations on the market, completely free of charge. When you first log in, you'll immediately notice a different feel compared to the sleek, modern interfaces of some of the fintech apps we've discussed. The Fidelity Planner feels less like a social media feed and more like the cockpit of an airplane. It's professional, it's dense with information, and it's unapologetically focused on data. Your Fidelity accounts are pulled in automatically, forming the bedrock of your plan. But it doesn't stop there. You can, and absolutely should, link your external accounts, your spouse's 401k at Vanguard, your checking account at a local credit union, even the estimated value of your home. It aggregates everything to build a comprehensive net worth statement, just like Empower. But where Fidelity truly separates itself from the pack is in its core analytical engine. It doesn't just draw a straight line into the future. Instead, it uses a powerful technique called a Monte Carlo simulation. Now, that sounds incredibly complex, but the concept is actually quite simple to grasp. Imagine you're planning a cross-country road trip. A basic calculator would assume you drive at exactly 65 miles per hour, with perfect weather and no traffic, and tell you you'll arrive in 43 hours. That's a single optimistic projection. A Monte Carlo simulation is like planning that same trip, but running it 1,000 times. In one simulation, you hit a blizzard in the Rockies. In another, you get a flat tire in Nebraska. In a third, you find clear roads and make great time. And in others, you face a mix of good and bad luck. After running thousands of these different scenarios, you don't get one single answer. You get a probability. You might find that in 90% of the simulations, you arrived within 50 hours. That's a much more realistic and useful way to plan. Fidelity's retirement planner does the exact same thing with your money. It runs thousands of simulations on your portfolio, throwing every imaginable market condition at it. Bull markets, bear markets, periods of high inflation, stagflation, tech booms, and global recessions. It stress tests your plan against a universe of possibilities. And the output of all this complex analysis is distilled into a single intuitive number: your Fidelity Retirement Score. This score, out of 150, represents your estimated retirement readiness. It's a snapshot of where you stand today. A score below 80 is in the red zone, suggesting you need to make changes. A score between 80 and 95 is in the yellow, meaning you're on track but could use some improvement. And a score over 95 puts you in the green, indicating you have a high probability of achieving your retirement goals. But it's more than just a number. It represents the percentage chance that your plan will succeed. A score of 90 means that in 900 out of 1,000 market simulations, you didn't run out of money. It's a powerful, motivating, and easy-to-understand metric. So what are the standout strengths? First and foremost, as I've said, is the seamless integration for Fidelity customers. The accuracy and convenience of having your largest assets automatically and instantly reflected in your plan cannot be overstated. It removes the single biggest point of failure in most financial plans: outdated or incorrect user-entered data. Second is the sheer power of the analysis you get for free. Monte Carlo simulations are typically a feature of high-end software that costs hundreds of dollars a year, or a service provided by a financial advisor that costs thousands. Fidelity gives you this institutional-grade tool simply for being a customer. It allows you to model different scenarios with incredible granularity. What happens if I retire at 62 instead of 67? What if my spouse and I have significant healthcare costs in our 80s? What if we decide to spend $10,000 more per year on travel? You can adjust these variables and instantly see the impact on your retirement score, turning it from a static report into a dynamic, interactive decision-making tool. Third, the advice is incredibly actionable. The planner doesn't just tell you you're in the red zone. It gives you specific, concrete levers to pull. It will show you, for example, that increasing your savings rate by just 2% could boost your score by 15 points. Or that by adjusting your asset allocation to be slightly more aggressive, you could significantly improve your long-term outlook. It models the impact of each choice, empowering you to make informed decisions. However, no tool is perfect, and the Fidelity Planner has its own set of trade-offs. Its greatest strength, the deep integration with the Fidelity ecosystem, is also its primary limitation. If your assets are scattered across a dozen different companies, and you have no intention of consolidating, you might find a dedicated aggregator like Empower to be a more neutral and convenient central hub. While Fidelity's account linking is good, it's not their core business, and it can sometimes be less robust than the specialists. Another potential drawback is the complexity. The interface, while powerful, can be intimidating for a true beginner. It presents a massive amount of data, and if you're not comfortable with investment concepts, you might feel a bit overwhelmed. It's built for the serious DIY investor, not necessarily for someone looking for a 5-minute casual checkup. Finally, you have to remember the context. This is a free tool offered by a company that provides financial products and services. While the planner itself is objective, its recommendations will often subtly guide you towards solutions within the Fidelity universe. If your plan shows a shortfall, a logical next step proposed might be to speak with a Fidelity advisor. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Their advisors are professionals, but you should be aware that the tool is also a gateway to their paid services. So, who is the Fidelity Retirement Planner for? It is, without a doubt, the single best option for the millions of people who already call Fidelity their investment home. If your 401k or a significant portion of your portfolio is with them, you should stop what you're doing and go set this up right now. It's also a phenomenal tool for any data-driven DIY investor who wants to run sophisticated, probability-based scenarios on their plan without paying a hefty subscription fee. It provides a level of analytical rigor that free standalone calculators simply can't match. Fidelity gives you an incredible institutional-grade engine for free, letting you see the outcome of 1,000 possible futures. But what if you're the kind of person who wants to get under the hood? What if you don't just want to see the results of the simulation, but want to build the engine yourself, piece by piece? For the ultimate planner, the person who lives and breathes spreadsheets and wants to control every single variable, from state-specific tax laws in retirement to the exact sequence of your withdrawals from different account types, our final number one tool is built specifically for you. It's the most powerful, the most detailed, and by far the most customizable tool on our list. And that tool, the number one retirement planning software in the United States for 2025, is New Retirement. Now, I want you to imagine two different photographs of your future. The first is a bit blurry, out of focus. You can make out the general shapes. There's a house, maybe some travel time with family, but the details are fuzzy. The colors are muted. There's a feeling of uncertainty, of hoping it all turns out okay. The second photograph is stunningly sharp. It's a 4K high-definition panorama of your retirement. You can see every detail with perfect clarity. The exact month you can afford to stop working, the precise amount of income you'll have each year, the specific tax bill you'll pay, and the confident knowledge that your portfolio can withstand a market storm. That is the difference between basic retirement planning and what New Retirement allows you to do. It's not just a calculator, it is an engine, a financial simulator for your entire life. While other tools on this list are like taking a single snapshot, New Retirement is like creating a full-length feature film of your financial future, and it gives you the director's chair. So what makes it so powerful? It comes down to 3 core pillars: unparalleled detail, sophisticated tax and withdrawal modeling, and robust scenario planning. Let's start with detail. Most retirement calculators ask for your age, your income, and your 401k balance. They give you a generic one-size-fits-all answer. New Retirement scoffs at that. It wants to know everything because in retirement everything matters. It allows you to model complex income streams that other platforms can't handle. Do you have a government pension with a specific cost of living adjustment? You can input that. Are you planning on a side hustle for the first 5 years of retirement that brings in an extra $10,000 a year? You can model that. Do you own a rental property with its own mortgage, expenses, and depreciation schedule? You can build that right into your plan. It even gets granular with your expenses. Instead of one big number, you can create a detailed budget that changes over time. You can plan for higher healthcare costs in your 80s, a one-time RV purchase in your late 60s, or helping a child with a wedding in a few years. This isn't just about getting a more accurate number. It's about building a plan that reflects the unique, messy, wonderful reality of your life, not some sterile spreadsheet. But where New Retirement truly enters a league of its own is its tax planning capability. This is the feature that can literally save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. For most Americans, the single biggest unknown in retirement is taxes. New Retirement tackles this head-on. Its crown jewel is the Roth Conversion Explorer. You can model different conversion strategies year by year, seeing precisely how much to convert to stay in a lower tax bracket. The software will show you, in plain dollars and cents, the long-term impact on your estate and your lifetime tax bill. It's like having a tax strategist on call 24/7. It also masters the art of withdrawal sequencing. The order in which you pull money from your accounts, your taxable brokerage, your traditional IRA, your Roth IRA, has a monumental impact on how long your money lasts. New Retirement lets you model different strategies. Should you spend down your taxable account first? Should you pull from your traditional IRA until you hit the top of the 12% tax bracket and then switch to another account? The software runs the numbers on all these complex scenarios, showing you the optimal path to minimize taxes and maximize the longevity of your portfolio. It even accounts for state income taxes, a critical detail that most other planners completely ignore. This brings us to the third pillar, scenario planning. A retirement plan that only works when the stock market goes up is not a plan. It's a prayer. New Retirement is built for reality. It allows you to stress test your plan against the unexpected. You can run a Monte Carlo simulation, which is a fancy way of saying it runs your plan through 1,000 different possible market futures, booms, busts, and everything in between to give you a true probability of success. But you can also create your own custom what-if scenarios. What if inflation stays high for another 5 years? What if you have a major long-term care event at age 85? What if you decide to downsize your house and add $200,000 to your portfolio? For every question, every fear, every dream, you can build a scenario and see the impact instantly. This is the single most powerful feature for eliminating financial anxiety. When you've seen the worst-case scenario and know you have a plan to handle it, you gain a level of confidence that is simply priceless. Let's make this real. Think of a couple, David and Sarah, both 58. They've saved diligently. They have a mix of 401ks, Roth IRAs, and a brokerage account. Their number one fear is paying a fortune in taxes when they start taking required minimum distributions, or RMDs. They sign up for New Retirement's Planner Plus plan. They spend a weekend inputting all their data. It's detailed, but they're determined. The initial projection shows they're on track, but their tax bill in their 70s and 80s is enormous. Then they discover the Roth conversion tool. They model converting $50,000 a year from their 401k to a Roth IRA for the next 10 years. The software instantly shows them that while they'll pay some taxes now, they'll save over $300,000 in lifetime taxes. It's a revelation. Then they use the withdrawal planner and realize that by spending down their brokerage account first, they can let their tax-deferred money grow for longer, further optimizing their plan. Finally, they run a market crash scenario, simulating a 30% drop in their first year of retirement. The software shows that their plan is resilient enough to recover. For the first time, David and Sarah don't just hope they'll be okay. They know it. They have a detailed, stress-tested, tax-optimized blueprint for their future. Now, as incredible as new retirement is, it's not for everyone. Its greatest strength, its depth and detail, is also its biggest hurdle. This is not a tool for someone who wants a quick answer in 5 minutes. It requires a commitment. You have to be willing to gather your documents and spend a few hours inputting accurate data. The user interface is highly functional, but it can feel more like a professional financial dashboard than a sleek, modern app. It prioritizes power over polish. Furthermore, the most valuable features we've discussed, the detailed tax planning, Roth conversion modeling, and scenario analysis, are part of its paid Planner Plus subscription. While the free version is a fantastic starting point and more detailed than most other free tools, the true magic is behind the paywall. At around $120 a year, it's an incredible bargain compared to a human advisor, but it's still a financial commitment. This tool is for the serious planner, the person who wants to be the CEO of their own retirement. So we've just uncovered the most powerful retirement planning engine available to the public. It's the tool for those who crave control, who want to understand every lever and dial of their financial life, and who refuse to leave their future to chance. But power isn't everything. The best tool for a financial analyst might not be the best tool for you. So how do you choose? How do you match your personality, your goals, and your stage of life to one of these incredible platforms we've covered? Let's answer that question right now. Because the secret isn't in the software's code, it's in your own DNA. It's about matching the tool not to a theoretical best, but to the reality of who you are, and where you want to go. This isn't just about picking software. It's about choosing your financial co-pilot for the most important journey of your life. So let's break this down not by features but by you. First, let's talk about the accumulator, the builder. This is you if you're in your 20s, 30s, or even early 40s. Your primary goal is growth. Your timeline is long. You're comfortable with technology, you love data, and you want to see everything in one place to make sure you're on the right track. You're building your financial skyscraper, and you need a clear, accurate blueprint. For you, the choice is almost a no-brainer. The Empower Personal Dashboard. It is, without question, the single best free tool on the planet for getting a 360-degree view of your financial life. Its power lies in aggregation, linking all your accounts, your 401k, your IRA, your brokerage, your bank accounts, even your mortgage and credit cards, gives you the one number that matters most in this phase, your net worth. Watching that number climb month after month is one of the most powerful motivators you will ever find. And its free tools like the Fee Analyzer are mission critical. That tool alone can save you tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime by sniffing out the high-fee funds that are eating away at your returns like a parasite. At this stage, you don't need hyper-complex withdrawal simulations. You need a command center. You need clarity. You need motivation. Empower gives you all three for free. But what if that's not you? What if you're the delegator? You're busy. You're a professional, a business owner, a parent. You understand the importance of retirement planning, but you honestly don't have the time or the desire to become a semi-professional financial analyst. You want guidance, simplicity, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing things are being handled correctly. You're looking for a set-it-and-forget-it solution, but with the option to grab the controls if you need to. For you, the answer starts to shift towards a hybrid model. This is where a platform like Betterment or Wealthfront shines for its basic investment management. They make investing simple and automated. But if you want true retirement planning, you're looking at something like Empower's advisory service. You get the phenomenal dashboard we just talked about, but now it's paired with a dedicated team of financial advisors. They help you build the plan, manage your investments, and keep you on track. It's the perfect balance of high-tech and high-touch. You get the data-driven insights of the software, combined with the wisdom and accountability of a human professional. The cost is higher, of course, but for the delegator, the value is in buying back your time and your mental energy, which are your most precious assets. Now we move to the most critical stage of all, the final approach. This is you if you are 5 to 10 years away from retirement. Your entire mindset has to shift. You are no longer just an accumulator of assets. You are about to become a decumulator. You're transitioning from growing your nest egg to figuring out how to make it last for 30 or 40 years. The questions you're asking are completely different. It's not just how much can I grow? It's how much can I safely spend? It's when should I take Social Security? It's should I do a Roth conversion now to save on taxes later? It's what happens to my plan if there's a market crash in my first year of retirement? For you, the stakes are astronomically high, and the margin for error is razor thin. For the final approach, there is one platform that stands head and shoulders above the rest for the dedicated, hands-on planner, New Retirement Planner Plus. This is the undisputed champion of decumulation modeling. Its ability to run detailed scenarios is simply unparalleled in the direct-to-consumer market. You can model different retirement dates, different spending levels, different inflation assumptions. You can input one-time expenses like a new car or a child's wedding. Most importantly, its Social Security optimization tool can literally find you tens of thousands of dollars in additional lifetime benefits. Its Roth conversion modeling tool lets you see, year by year, the tax implications of converting your traditional IRA or 401k. This isn't just a planning tool. It's a financial laboratory. It lets you stress test your plan against the harsh realities of sequence of return risk and inflation. You can see precisely how a bad market at the wrong time could impact your portfolio and adjust your strategy accordingly. The subscription fee for Planner Plus is an investment, not an expense. The cost of getting one of these critical decisions wrong, like your Social Security timing, could dwarf the cost of the software 100 times over. If you are within 10 years of retirement and you want to be in the driver's seat, New Retirement is your flight simulator. Finally, we have the complex case. This is the individual or family with a high net worth, multiple income streams, business ownership, intricate tax situations, or complex estate planning goals. Your financial life isn't a simple equation. It's a multivariable calculus problem. You might have stock options, rental properties, and a desire to set up trusts for your heirs. For you, a direct-to-consumer tool, even a powerful one like New Retirement, might not be enough. You need the institutional-grade power that top financial advisors use. And that means you need access to a platform like eMoney Advisor. You can't buy this on your own. It's sold exclusively through financial professionals, and for good reason. Its power is immense, but it requires professional expertise to wield correctly. It can model everything from charitable giving strategies to the intricate tax consequences of selling a business. It integrates all aspects of your financial life, investing, insurance, estate planning, tax planning, into one cohesive, dynamic plan. If your situation is complex, your first step isn't to find software. It's to find a great fee-only financial advisor. And when you do, ask them what software they use. If they say eMoney or a comparable institutional tool, you know you're in the right place. They can run the sophisticated models that your situation demands, giving you the clarity and confidence to navigate your unique financial landscape. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a simple truth. The best retirement planning software is the one you will actually use. The one that matches your personality and your current stage in life. Don't pay for the complexity of New Retirement if all you need right now is the beautiful aggregation of Empower's free dashboard. Don't settle for a simple tracker if you're 5 years from retirement and need to be stress testing your withdrawal strategy. The biggest mistake isn't choosing the wrong software. The biggest mistake is choosing nothing. It's letting inertia and overwhelm paralyze you. Because the simple act of picking one of these tools and inputting your information is a revolutionary act. It forces you to confront the numbers. It transforms your retirement from a vague, distant dream into a concrete project with a deadline. It's the moment you stop hoping for a good future and start building one. Your retirement is the biggest financial goal of your life. It is the culmination of a lifetime of work, saving, and sacrifice. It deserves more than a guess. It deserves a plan. The tools we've discussed today are the most powerful that have ever been available to the average person. They democratize financial planning, taking it out of the exclusive domain of the ultra-wealthy and putting it directly into your hands. So pick your co-pilot. Whether it's the free, all-seeing eye of Empower, the professional guidance of a hybrid service, the granular control of New Retirement, or the institutional power of eMoney through an advisor. Choose your tool, open it up, and take that first step. Because your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. The best time to start planning for your retirement was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now.